Voltagectrlr.
What up, world? Shiro Fujioka back again with another episode of Boombaptism Scrolls. In this episode, I'm going to be breaking down the origin of the Voltagectrlr symbol and speaking on why it consists of triangles, what triangles represent from the sacred geometry perspective and also the sonic perspective. So thanks for tuning in. Let's get into it. So yeah, the triangle, I was first introduced to the triangle wave a little over 10 years ago when I got into modular synthesis is when I really started grasping, the concept of the shapes of different waveforms and, using oscilloscopes to literally look at these waveforms. And the waveform I was really drawn to was the triangle. And around that time I was spending a lot of time I was living in Sedona at the time and spending a lot of time at Red Rock Crossing, just chilling by the creek and looking up at Cathedral Rock and just really feeling the energy of the vortex. And that's when I got the idea of the Voltagectrlr logo. And of course I was resonating with the energy of triangle wave. So the vision that I got for this sacred and geometric shape that I use to represent my musical manifestation, consists of triangles. The triangle is the base for other geometric figures such as the square, rectangle, pentagon, hexagon, platonic solids, and countless more. The Trinity aspect also repeats in the more complicated magical symbols. The energy of the triangle focuses on the connecting the third point between two opposing ones. The harmony of these 3 points is the key to understanding the basis of all creation. We can look at this as the center between the above and the below, the zero between the endless pluses and minuses, or the balance between the two scales of justice. The triangle thereby brings forward the importance of harmony. It could be compared to the traditional seasons of autumn and spring, between the extremes of winter and summer, or the tree trunk between the branching upwards and downwards. Furthermore, the triangle represents time past, present, and future. Symbolically, the triangle is usually associated with the balance between oppositions, but it also stands for intellect, wisdom, knowledge, and the importance of clear focus. Its magical powers help us remain focused on our intent and offer colorful rather than black and white thinking. Its harmonious shape attracts open-mindedness and curiosity. So now that I've given you a little more insight on the energy behind the triangle, I want to break down the symbolism behind my Voltagectrlr yantra. And as we're speaking of, it consists of triangles. So the first part that I'd like to break down is the upward triangle. The upward triangle represents the masculine principle, or if you feel more comfortable, the generative principle. And then we have the downward triangle, which represents the feminine principle or the receptive principle. And the combination of these two shapes, make the shape it's an age-old shape that's found in ancient Kemetic culture. It's found in Hindu culture. It's found in Jewish culture. It's a symbol that has existed for thousands of years. And it's a symbol of balance. It's the symbol of creativity and creation because it's the blend of masculine and feminine, or generative and receptive energy. So I'm going to start with speaking on the 3 upward triangles, which represent generative energy. And you can liken that to the Father, Son, Holy Ghost, or from Hindu culture, you could liken it to Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And the thing that I like to point out is what's missing in the equation of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost is it's all masculine properties. It's all generative energy. There's no female principle spoken about in that narrative. So in my many years studying Hinduism, I really resonated with their Trinity story, which each god has a goddess. So it's Brahma and Saraswati, it's Vishnu and Lakshmi, it's Shiva and Parvati. So I broke that equation down into symbolism, which is 3 upward triangles and 3 downward triangles. That's the energy system that I'm tapping into with this when I envision this yantra. In order to tap into an energy system, for any circuit, what you need is grounding. So if you look at the phono plug that's facing downward, that represents grounding, that represents being deeply rooted, and that's where we have to start at. And that gives the ability to move through this energy system of these gods and goddesses energy that ultimately brings us to the top of the pinnacle of the three triangles, which you'll notice there's three phono plugs pointing up. So basically what that symbolizes and represents is the three aspects of God, generator, operator, and destroyer. But what creates that energy of God, what gives birth to that force, is these six energy systems of, the three upward triangles, the three downward triangles, and it's grounded like a tree, and the energy moves up, and it's stretching up to the heavens to receive this energy. So I hope that gives a little more clarity on my, I guess we'll call it a logo, but it's more of a yantra. And there's always meaning and symbolism behind what I do, and I just wanted to share that with y'all. And I hope it finds you well. Peace and love. Peace and love.